When it comes to surviving in the workplace, I was a puppet, and the workplace held the strings. Here's how to skip what I had to learn the hard way. A lot of your job will be performance art. You took economics in school. Maybe you should have taken theater. Company and employees report numbers and hard data, but what they really want, and what leaves an impression on coworkers and leadership are stories. The CEO tells a story about the company along with the numbers when they do quarterly reports. Your boss and the company want to hear how your work is changing the game for the department. So, you'll need to learn how to take often bland data and events, then weave them into shareable stories that excite and inspire. So, Google Meet and Teams are just basically TV shows. Lights, camera, action. Business jargon is newspeak for companies. In the book 1984, the totalitarian government enforced a limited dictionary of words the citizens had to use to describe things. The collection of words was called newspeak. Instead of calling something bad, citizens had to say ungood. The idea behind newspeak is that when you limit words people can use, you also limit a person's ability to understand something as well as encourage them to fail to communicate to others, a concept that a group in power might not like. So instead of firing people, the workplace might be encouraged to describe it as reorganization. When your manager or company doesn't want to support you, corporate newspeak may define it as asking you to take self-initiative. Words control meaning, and subsequently, how truth is positioned to members in the organization. Learn to listen for the truth, not the words used. Bullsh is a social lubricant in business. Bullsh is different from jargon. Jargon is a short, curt form of language used by an in-group to communicate ideas between them faster and as a signal that they are part of that group. Think the military's use of Roger that or teen slang like Riz or whatever they're using now. Bull, which I'll call BS for now on, is about providing dubious information that is misleadingly impressive, important, informative, or otherwise engaging. In short, the distortion of an idea, capability, or situation to control the perception of it. In the corporate world, BS is used to create a distortion field to lubricate a person or company's ability to navigate difficult conversations with internal or external audiences. Like calling the act of firing employees a corporate workforce revalidation process, to divert from the underlying message that sales are failing. Or we messed up or failed is communicated as we recognize the challenges. The Simpsons covered this idea well over 20 years ago. Facing a meltdown of the plant's nuclear reactor, the owner, Mr. Burns, tried to BS the press and calm the public, saying, "Oh, that's just an unrequested fission surplus." Tech and investing have a lot of this. What makes it work in a company? BS can only thrive in companies that are receptive to it. If you aren't called out or punished for using it, then it does and you're allowed to use it. Speaking of BS, the phrase work hard, play hard is definitely BS. Is a beer and pizza party for a couple hours really playing hard as opposed to the 60 hours a week for the 2 months that you put in getting a project done? Seems like the company's work hard part does a lot more than the company's play hard part. At most companies, it's an almost empty slogan that tries to make the company sound like more fun than it is. Passionate is a code word for, do you have a cult mentality? In interviewing, it's usually a plus if you communicate that you are passionate about your job or your industry. You might say, I'm really passionate about working in the metallurgy treatment industry. You might be, but even if the real reason is, I need the job or really like the money, you can't say that. Instead, you have to say you're passionate because being a passionate person is one who lets their emotions override their life and boundaries around that subject. Passionate people often don't care if their work effort far surpasses their company's compensation. Being passionate is perfect energy for working beyond overtime or following directives that might interrupt your work-life balance. And that's what makes you attractive to your employer. Buzzwords are smoke bombs to hide lack of understanding. If someone is just spraying buzzwords in a meeting like an air freshener, it's a good chance they don't know what they're saying. Someone using a long stream of buzzwords to describe something are meant to sound like they do by filling the room with a cloud of words with circular reasoning and ideas that get close but never land in meaning. You might hear something like, "We're innovating in the space to leverage synergy to transformation on a first mover basis." The idea is for the people in the room to feel overwhelmed by the barrage of words, or the idea is too squishy to pin down for a follow up question, beyond quietly thinking, "What the hell did you just say?" And because buzzwords can be used among a group to signal they are part of an in group, some in the room won't speak up or push back for fear of looking like they don't know the lingo that others in the meeting or in group may know. Here's a statistic that might not surprise you. According to a report from Cornell studying corporate BS, employees who are most inspired by visionary language they hear are the least equipped to make effective, practical business decisions. There you have it. Some examples of how words don't always match your employer's actions, and why it's important to listen for what they mean, instead of what they are saying. Want more ways to not be a company puppet? Please hit like and subscribe for more ways to learn, thrive, survive, and save for a life beyond work.